All right, in this lesson, we're going to talk about how to use projections to plan sales. So I've added a nice little projections area for you on your sales stats, on your SOP sales tracker. So you'll notice on your core metrics page, this is where you're going to be copying over your data every month. This will give you high level things that have happened in the past, right? And you can change those date ranges as needed. On your monthly sheet here that you're going to be using month after month, I've added this projections, and this is going to help you know if you're on pace for sales for the month. And this can be really helpful because data brings clarity to our minds, okay? And I've done this in my business for a while because I remember one month I felt like enrollments were slow and I felt like we were behind, and I realized I was stressing about this quite often. So I plugged in some formulas here and realized actually in that month we were ahead of where we needed to be for that month based on the amount of work days that were left and things like that. It just was kind of a funny looking month. And that's where data can bring a lot of clarity to you. So this should help you in knowing where you're at for the month. So if it says that you're behind, that's not meant to make you get all weird on sales calls and start adding in all of this pressure because you're behind and you need to catch up. It's just to tell you where you are. And I think it can be really helpful, especially if you're feeling like you're behind or I've only made 2 sales this month. Actually, if you look at the data here, you're on pace. So these kind of things can really help you. So let me walk you through how to use this. Okay, I've put the 2 areas that you can edit in blue here. So you can choose your revenue goal. For this example, I've chosen 15,000 in revenue. Now, don't forget revenue is expected revenue. Okay, cash collected is different. We're going to talk about that in just a second. You can actually put in your cash collected revenue here if you want, and we can just make a couple changes there as well. But we're going to use revenue for now. So if you have $15,000 in revenue as your goal and 5 enrollments, okay, you can adjust those how you like. This will calculate for you the revenue to date. It'll calculate how many enrollments you have today. Again, you can find this information up here as well, but it's just pulling it over here just for the projections clear snapshot here. 45% of this month has elapsed, and that's going to be based on today's date. So it will adjust for you in real time. There are a total of 20 working days this month. Again, that's talking about the current date of the month that you're in. So this will automatically adjust well. And you have 12 working days left. So 45% of the month is over based on work days. You have 12 left. All right. So we're not quite halfway. According to this sample, I have, let's see if there's been 2 sales this month. So that populated there for you. This is the projection. Okay. So it's saying if you keep up at the same pace based on where you're at in the month, your projected revenue is set to be about $15,000. All right. And it's just taking that into account of formulas. Projected enrollments is 4. Again, that makes sense. We're about halfway through the month as I'm filming this. Again, let's see, today is actually November 13th, just so you know, because I've calculated it in the month of November here. So that's where we're at this month. It's projected that we have 4 enrollments this month if we keep on a similar pace. It's also calculating here the cash to date, and then it's also giving me a cash projection. Okay, and this is why revenue and cash, again, are very different. If you need more clear definitions of those are in the budgeting and financial awareness lesson for you. But you can see that even though we are on pace to hit revenue goals, okay, it says we're on pace, cash collected this month, if we keep going at the rate that we are, is going to be pretty low. So that's just something to keep an eye on as well and make sure that that fits in what you have there. Again, this is just a projection, so we're not marrying this number. If you have any, and this is, so I will say, the 2 sales that I have listed this month are both payment plans. One was a 6-month, that's a long one, and we only collected $600. The other one was a 2-month, and we collected $1,600. Okay, so the cash to date is actually pretty low this month, which is why it's projecting a low number as well. Hopefully you have a couple more pay in fulls. Let's actually put in the pay in full for you. You can see how that just went up drastically because the cash we've collected now went up quite a bit. Does that make sense? So that's where that is at. You can see that this also adjusted the projection when I just added in that other sale and also the enrollments, because now we've made 3 sales already and the month is only 45% over. So if we keep up at this pace, we're likely to have a good month. And this also adjusted for you as well. So now we're a little bit ahead of schedule. That can give you a little peace. Or if you know that, hey, I'm actually taking some time off at the end of this month, so I do kind of want to be a little bit ahead, that makes sense to me. Again, this is just data and information to help you know where you are in the month projection wise. Okay. What else do we have here? Okay, so you can adjust this how you want. So let's say you have a $10,000 revenue goal. Let's take off that sale. If you had a $10,000 revenue goal, this program is listed at 3,000. So you're looking at 3 enrollments there. You're still ahead for the month. Okay. Based on these 2 sales that you already have, you only needed to make 3. If you want to bump that up to 20,000, which 20,000 divided by 3 would be 6, almost 7. So this is, I want to make $20,000. Let's do 21. Just so the math, I can't handle that. Which would be 7 enrollments at 3,000, right? If that is our goal for the month, we are a little bit behind, right? Because we've only made 2 sales and the month is 45% over. Again, don't let this stress you out. It's really meant to help you find clarity in where you're at, right? If you had 3 sales so far this month, you're on pace. All right, projected 7, projected right around that same. If you can just keep this pace going, which means, let's see, so far you've had 9 sales calls. Okay, so if you're at this pace, you just need to keep this pace going. You actually probably have a pretty good closing rate. 38%, like really respectable. So like this is it's a very average month, right? 38% closing here, and we're just going to keep going. All right. And these are the projections where we're at. So this can really help you again in just being more confident in where you're at. My caution to you though, is if it says that you're behind, don't let it stress you out. All right. Knowledge is power, and some months are harder. If you are at a 25% closing rate and hey, it's the 13th of the month and we are a little bit behind projections where we need to be, then you need to know, okay, well, we've only had 9 calls on the calendar. We need to get a few more on there. Okay, so my focus might be getting more calls on the calendar, or maybe following up with some of these leads. Are these good leads? You might come over here and look at, maybe we had quite a few that were not fits. Okay, so maybe this is the area that I need to do. We're actually getting enough calls, especially if my closing rate was where I want it to be. We're just not getting fits. So maybe that's the area that I need to work on. Or I've got a couple follow-ups scheduled and I anticipate that they close this month. And so I'm going to give myself a little grace there because I anticipate next week we've got these follow-ups scheduled with these 2 leads that were really great fits. Put a big old yes there. And that should get us back on track. So again, take this with a grain of salt, but projections can help you know where you're at and know where to shift and focus. But you do need to look at the whole picture to really understand what's happening. But I feel like sometimes this can help me just know that we're doing it. We're doing the thing and everything is working. If your cash projection is low, then you can come and look at, okay, are we taking a lot of payment plans this month? Have we had any pay in fulls? Maybe that's an area to focus and get that cash projection up a little bit. Again, projections are not cash in the bank. So don't spend so much time worrying about projections and trying to get this number up higher, because a projection is only a projection. Okay. Cash to date, cash in the bank is king. Cash is king. I've said that many times and we will keep doing that. But I hope that projections area at least helps you know where you're at for the month and gives you some clarity on what you can expect, especially if you keep your pacing.